Hi, this is Brian Flett, continuing the overview of Bentley Asset Performance Management. In APM Overview 1, we defined where APM fits into the overall asset lifecycle, what pain points it is trying to address, and a high-level overview of the APM process. In APM Overview 2, we will describe Bentley's APM methodology, our approach for moving organizations towards a more proactive approach to asset reliability and maintenance. We will describe how the APM software supports the process and describe a typical implementation project. So how does an organization move from how they're doing maintenance today to an environment that follows the APM process? Well, unfortunately, there's no silver bullet or simple solution to move to APM. If an organization has a reactive maintenance culture, where heroic efforts to get the plant up and running after the latest breakdown are celebrated, then a significant culture change is going to be required to move towards the proactive, planned, and controlled approach espoused by the APM process. Enabling technology, like the Bentley APM software product, is an important piece of the picture, but it's not the whole solution. To move toward a proactive APM maintenance approach, organizations need to adopt different business processes and best maintenance practices, and have people who are trained and mentored so that they have the skills to execute the new processes and practices. All of this needs to be coordinated by an overall asset management plan that brings all the pieces together into an integrated solution. Bentley's APM methodology provides a framework for bringing this all together. An effective APM process develops and implements reliability programs for operational assets, including ongoing performance monitoring and continuous improvement. To sustain this process over time, it needs to be aligned with key business objectives and be supported by an organization that has clear accountability for the asset performance. The Bentley APM methodology is comprised of 4 key elements: business alignment, organizational alignment, technology alignment, and the APM cycle itself. Business alignment is all about ensuring that the maintenance plans are consistent with the overall business objectives. If the business focus is maximizing production throughput, the appropriate maintenance strategy might be quite different than if the business focus is on minimizing production cost. During business alignment, the current state of the organization is reviewed and a business case for improvement is developed. Gaining the support of senior leaders is critical at this stage. You need to work with the executives to determine what success looks like and how you're going to measure it, leading to overall KPIs and milestones for the program. Organizational alignment is all about institutionalizing the APM process to drive continuous improvement of asset performance. All of the activities involved in an effective APM process are clearly defined and assigned to specific roles within the organization. Competent individuals are assigned to all of the roles, and any existing skill gaps are identified and addressed with appropriate training and mentoring. Role responsibilities for APM are clearly understood, and individuals learn how to use process measures to manage their own performance as well as the performance of their direct reports. Technology alignment is all about establishing the technology infrastructure, systems, and interfaces to support improved asset performance. The Bentley APM software infrastructure is designed and configured and integrated to other systems. Handheld units, remote tablets, and ODC data sources are configured to support efficient equipment condition and performance data collection. Customization of the Bentley APM software is performed as needed to support the APM process. The objective of technology alignment is to ensure that all data collected is consolidated and transformed into asset intelligence to support effective and efficient decision-making. The asset performance management cycle in the center represents the business process of APM, those activities that must be consistently executed to ensure optimal equipment reliability on a sustainable basis. The successful implementation of the APM cycle within any organization is highly dependent on the other 3 foundational elements: business, organization, and technology alignment. So the methodology is process-driven. It defines a set of business processes that are mapped to roles and supporting technologies. This can be used to drive job descriptions, org charts, training programs, and leading key performance indicators to measure adherence to the process. The Bentley APM methodology comes complete with templates for most project deliverables. We have templates for the project charter, work plan, and kickoff presentation used in business alignment. We also have predefined process maps, role descriptions, and KPIs that can be used as a starting point for doing the organizational alignment steps. And there are standard training courses for the major practices in the APM cycle itself. Here's a more detailed picture of the APM cycle. In subsequent videos, we will be delving into a lot more detail on each of the bubbles in each of the sections around this wheel. Many of these bubbles have their own standalone courses. But let's stick with the big picture and talk about technology alignment, how the Bentley APM technology fits in with other computer systems you might already be using. The Bentley APM software typically sits between field data systems you might be using to operate and control equipment, and enterprise-level systems you might be using for things like financials or supply chain, customer relationship management. Most large companies use SAP, Oracle, or some comparable product as their enterprise system. These products typically have a module called Enterprise Asset Management, EAM, or Computerized Maintenance Management, CMMS, which cover the work management portion of the APM cycle. Most EAM or CMMS systems are pretty good at planning, scheduling, and executing maintenance work once someone's figured out what maintenance work has to be done. What these systems are not good at is figuring out what maintenance work should be done and when it should be done. That's where Bentley APM comes in. Bentley APM actually does have its own CMMS module if you don't already have one. But since most companies are already using a CMMS, we typically interface Bentley APM with the existing CMMS system. In fact, Bentley APM comes with out-of-the-box integration to CMMSs like SAP PM, Maximo, and Oracle EAM. It also has an integration framework for writing custom integration to other CMMSs. Bentley APM also has out-of-the-box integration with plant floor systems, typically via an OPC-compliant data historian like Pi. We have a framework for developing custom integrations to predictive tools like vibration analysis and oil analysis. And Bentley APM has a mobile solution that runs on PDAs or tablets to collect feedback from manual inspections that cannot be captured automatically through online sensors or lab results. So if we go around the APM cycle again, the Bentley APM software starts by capturing information about the probability and consequence of asset failure, and using that to prioritize what systems should be analyzed further to improve their maintenance results. In Bentley APM, we do the RCM or MTA analysis and come up with a better maintenance program. We then implement that program by defining indicators of asset health and linking them with sources of data, whether they be online sources or manual inspection points that will be collected via a route defined on the Bentley APM tablet. We collect the data and raise alarms when it's indicating that asset health is starting to deteriorate. Now we can tap the CMMS on the shoulder and tell it exactly what corrective maintenance to execute and how long it has to execute the task before the asset is likely to fail. We let the CMMS take care of the planning and the scheduling and the executing of the corrective maintenance work, and then the CMMS tells us when that maintenance work is done. Once the corrective job is complete, we reassess asset health and ensure that the problem has been truly fixed. But we don't stop there. All through the process, we've been collecting critical data. We can now use statistical tools like Weibull analysis to analyze that data, identify deviations from our original assumptions, and continuously improve our maintenance programs based on actual performance. This feedback mechanism for continuous improvement is a key element of the Bentley APM methodology and the Bentley APM software. So what does an implementation project look like when we apply the Bentley APM methodology? Although the methodology is very comprehensive, You do not need to bite off the whole thing at once. Unlike enterprise ERP and CMMS systems, Bentley APM can be implemented asset by asset as you work through a plant, so there's no need for a big bang go live. In a typical project, we would start by doing a program definition in the first week to define the objectives of the program, roles on the project, and develop a program charter and project plan. In week 2, we can start setting up the software with the IT folks, while in parallel, we can start training maintenance staff on some best practices, such as reliability-centered and other more streamlined approaches. By week 6, the team will be ready to start improving the existing maintenance program using RCM and MTA techniques, while reliability specialists define improved maintenance programs. Implementation specialists create the supporting indicators, states, inspection routes, and corrective jobs in the software. In under 3 months, a system of assets will have moved from a reactive to a proactive approach to maintenance, and the team can move on to the next area of the plant. This was a very quick introduction to asset performance management and the Bentley APM methodology. If you have any questions or would like to discuss this topic further, please do not hesitate to email me at brian.flett@bentley.com. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and encourage you to view the other videos in this series on Bentley APM.